I would
Oh,
regret
man.
it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Ekwonu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
We're not allowed to be happy. Did you hear? There's like Dolphin fans popping into my streams and popping into other people's streams. And we're not even talking smack. We're like literally just happy that we won. And they're coming in and saying, you don't get to be happy. We had our third string quarterback in. So let me get this straight. I want to get this straight. In all the games that Miami pounded on us, when we had guys like, I mean, who came in when Flacco was hurt and Sam Darnold was hurt? Who did we have? We had, I don't even remember who we would have to stick into that game. Or how about just Flacco? For all the time he's had to play, when we had Darnold here and he was hurt and Flacco played, did Miami ever beat us and say, we're not happy? We're not happy because they didn't have their best players. So we're not going to be happy that we beat them. Do you know something? About 600 Miami fans got together to do their takeover of MetLife, right? Now, they believed that we were a very, very inferior team. So if that's the case, they were going there to celebrate. They were going there to party, to rub it in our face. You're our younger brother. Your big brother's coming, and we're going to crush you. So they had no problem celebrating beating a team that they considered sucky. They basically said, we suck. They said the Jets suck. They didn't go in and say, after the win, and say, well, we're expected to beat them. They suck, and that's the way it is, and we're not going to be happy about it or anything like that. And we'll wait until we beat the Buffalo Bills to be happy because they're a good team. I think not. That's not what happened. They were ready to celebrate and trounce us. And if Joe Flacco played and Zach was still hurt, they wouldn't have cared. And if Joe Flacco went down and Michael White had to come in, they wouldn't have cared. They wouldn't have not been happy. Right? They might not have said, we're a Super Bowl team, we crushed the Jets, but we didn't say we were a Super Bowl team for beating them. We didn't. We simply celebrated. We celebrated our team winning. And people came onto my stream and said, no, it doesn't count. You don't get to celebrate. And then other media people, let's look at the 3 quarterbacks that the Jets beat. We're talking about the Jets. We're talking about the Jets. Who cares who the quarterbacks are that we beat? Nobody paid attention to us when half our team was hurt. Nobody cared last year when Becton, our left tackle, was out. When our safety, Marcus May, went down. And then Joyner went down. And the next guy up went down, Ashton Davis, down. And we were 4, 5, 6 safeties deep. Carl Lawson out. JFM gets banged up after having a good game. Huff gets injured. Nobody talked about our injuries. You beat us and you laughed at us and you trounced us. And you said how much we sucked and you patted yourselves on the back and said how superior you were and how you were our big brother. You didn't sit there and say, well, they had a lot of injuries. We shouldn't really celebrate too much or be too happy about it. You didn't say that. In one of those games, you barely beat us. Eccles, a rookie, pick six to your freaking quarterback. You barely beat us. We have to sit there and hear about your injuries. Nobody sat there. The regular Jet fans, the Jet fans that were on my channel, the Jet fans that are here now, we didn't go out there and say, we're better than the Dolphins and we're going to win the division and we're going to win the Super Bowl and this is it. We're great now. We didn't say that. We're happy that we won because 2 years ago we were 2-14. Last year we were 4-13. This year we were projected by every expert and every analyst out there. But you look when they looked at the projected draft to get a top 3 pick. Some people had us number 1 pick. Some people had us number 2. They had Chicago ranked better than us. Chicago is better than the Jets. Jacksonville better than the Jets. Detroit better than the Jets. Houston better than the Jets. These are teams we beat. Last year we beat them. Before getting Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and JJ, Sauce Gardner. Before getting those guys, before bringing in Whitehead, before bringing in DJ Reed, before adding all of that talent, we beat Jacksonville. We beat Houston. And they still said they were better than us. So you're telling me that we can't celebrate being 3-2? I don't care if we beat Alabama. I don't care. I don't care. We're not supposed to win. We're the pathetic Jets, remember? We're your little brother. We didn't just skin a game off you. We barely scraped by against your mighty defense. Oh, we had a third-string quarterback in, so you beat us. You beat us 13-10 because we couldn't score. No. We put up 40 points. What did your defense have to do with that? What did your quarterback being out have to do with the first drive of the game where we kicked the field goal? And then the following drive scored the touchdown. What did that have to do with it? Oh, Xavier Howard wasn't in. All right. So now we're going to list every injury that we have. You know how many tackles we have left on our roster? The rookie that we had to put in there, the rookie got hurt. That's how demolished and we have a 37-year-old playing with a torn rotator cuff that he didn't get surgery on, so he can come in and play for us. We had to move our guard to tackle in 2 different positions each week, right? But you know what? When we lose, we get mad at our team. We don't even say it to the other fans. We don't. We wouldn't have went onto Miami's pages and said, well, our tackles are all beat up. We have our offensive line's not the same. We don't do that. We don't do that at all. And the crazy thing is, we were being we weren't being disrespectful at all. We were celebrating a win. We weren't saying Miami stinks. We weren't. That post game, what were we saying yesterday? For those of you who were there, what were we saying? What was Tigo saying? What was I saying? What were we happy about? We were talking about Breece Hall. We were talking about how happy we were with Breece Hall. We were talking about that we were happy that Zach Wilson didn't throw any interceptions. Did Zach Wilson not throw interceptions because Miami had to use their third-string quarterback? How does that add up? You're telling me as a Jets fan I can't be happy that our rookie quarterback from last year came back and in his first 2 games clearly is better than he was last year, which is exactly what we need to see as Jets fans? We're not supposed to celebrate that because you had your third-string quarterback in? Let us go to the AFC East, Monsters of the AFC East, whatever it is. Go to Richie. Richie will tell you. Go to Richie's channel. Richie from Jets Media participates with the AFC East, right? Like with the other YouTube content providers. And he, and I believe, was it Jake Asman? Okay, so I think it was Jake. My brain is dead. But Richie went on with another Jets YouTube content provider. And they spoke and had a conversation with two Miami Dolphin content providers. And during that conversation, the Miami content providers say, we don't even like Bridgewater. We want this kid Stryker or Strevel, what? That's our guy. Whatever his name was, Stevens. Who was that kid? They wanted him. They fell in love with him in preseason the way we fell in love with Streveler. They said, we want to see this guy. So they and the thousands of Dolphin fans that love these guys, they're big YouTube content providers, wanted this guy to come in. And then he comes in because Sauce Gardner knocked Bridgewater into another galaxy. And then they complain that that's why they lost. I don't get it. Well, they're not going to raid on my parade. I'm happy. Jets Mess, member of the channel. What's going on, my friend? Marthea Simon is here. I'll find CJ. You want CJ back? We'll get CJ back on. Russell Scarf, long time no see. One of my original peeps, one of my original followers. And the guy who convinced me to do a show right now, I wasn't even thinking about coming on, but Anthony said, you coming on, Chaos? And I said, you know what? Matt O'Leary doesn't go back on. He's doing some show on somebody's channel. I'm forgetting who. He said 9 o'clock, which means I have some time. So I said, yeah, I'll come on, Anthony. Anthony made it worth my while. Got me a couple of chicken wings. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Let me read your comments. It probably isn't healthy how much I love going in and watching all these Finns channels who were talking so much crap before the game, now crying. I know. They went into a game, and during the game, their quarterback got hurt. So they're saying they were so confident, they were talking all this crap. It happens all the time in the NFL. Your quarterback comes out, whether it's for a game, for a quarter or 2 quarters or the rest of the game. It happens all the time. So in all that confidence, if some Jet fan would have said, yeah, well, what if Bridgewater got hurt in the first quarter? Would you still be confident? Do you think the Miami fans would have said that we're talking crap? No, we would lose then. They wouldn't have said that. They would have said, we can beat you with a high school quarterback. That's what they would have said. That's what they would have said. But I don't even have to play that game. The bottom line is we have the right to be happy no matter who the quarterback is. Some bimbo went on Twitter, forgot her name, she has some blue checks. Stupid people get blue checks. And listed the quarterbacks that we beat. Jacob Brissett. Well, first of all, Jacob Brissett hasn't even played bad. Jacob Brissett has played fine. And Cleveland's got a stacked roster. You're going to take that win away from us? And then, it starts going off. And then who did we beat? We beat Pittsburgh with a backup cut. Yeah. You know what? Nobody's claiming that we beat a great Pittsburgh team. As a matter of fact, the reason I was so mad and upset and screaming when I thought we were going to lose was because I couldn't believe we were going to lose to Pittsburgh and their rookie quarterback. So I was pissed. Then we came back and won. I was relieved, but part of me said, we probably should have won by more. Why did we struggle even against any quarterback? It's not like we haven't talked about it. We've worried about this defense. It doesn't matter. What matters is we came in, and our defense came in that second half and woke the hell up, and we started pressuring the hell out of that quarterback. Now, if we were pressuring the hell out of Bridgewater, would he have been much better? Maybe. Not according to a lot of Miami fans who wanted to see him play. A lot of Miami fans didn't want Bridgewater. They wanted this kid anyway. But the bottom line is it's not our problem as Jet fans to worry about the other team and who played, who didn't play. It's our as fans, we're looking at the fact that we are 3-2. I don't care if we played the 5 worst teams in the league, because what that means is we're better than a Miami with a third-string quarterback, and that Miami is a team that believes they can go to the Super Bowl. They believe that they could win the division against Buffalo. So you're saying that an elite team that's missing their quarterback, who's not the star of the team, because even Tua is not the superstar of the team. Like, they believe in Tua, and that's fine. I'm not saying anything bad about Tua, but he's not the superstar. He's not Mahomes. How much was the drop-off between Bridgewater and this kid? What was the drop-off? So you're saying the difference between Miami, who you believe could win a Super Bowl, and the Jets beating Miami 40-17 is the drop-off from Bridgewater to your third-string quarterback and Xavier Howard not playing, even though the cornerback that filled in for him did fine. Because Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore did not go off. Corey Davis, none of our wide receivers, none of them had a huge day. Xavier Howard would not have covered Breece Hall on any of those plays. Let's get that straight. So the difference between Xavier Howard and the cornerback who played in his place was not a huge margin. Miami did a very good job of not allowing Zach to have a lot of time in the pocket, plus and combined with good coverage. Our receivers were not wide open. Are they going to claim that when Xavier Howard plays, they don't give up any passes? That's not true. Let's look at the stats. The Jets didn't go crazy. Do you take away Breece Hall's 70-yard reception, which was a 5-yard pass? It was almost like an extended running play. We didn't even get that many passing yards, and I'm not even blaming Zach. Miami's a really good defense. They play cover zero. They do it really well. They mix and match it. They're very talented. They made it very difficult, and their backup cornerback did a great job. Covering Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore is not easy. And none of our wide receivers went off on them. So where was the big difference in their injuries to when they're healthy? The skill level between, because if you're telling me you're a Super Bowl team or you're confident that with Bridgewater you're going to crush us, knowing that Bridgewater was playing and knowing that Xavier Howard might not play, knowing you were banged up, you were still confident. So you're telling me because Bridgewater went down, that was the difference? And your corner played well, so you can't say, oh, well, we didn't know the guy was going to play so bad, because that didn't happen. I don't see it. We shouldn't be happy? According to you, according to Miami fans, we just beat a Super Bowl contending team, a potential AFC East division winner, because they went from Bridgewater to this rookie, and because Xavier Howard didn't play, another guy did who played well. Thank you. I will take that as a compliment. I will take that as a big positive for the Jets. That's how close we are to being a Super Bowl type team. That's how close we are. That's the difference level. The difference in Bridgewater and this quarterback and you not having Xavier. That's the difference. Okay. I'll take it. We're that close? Wow. Thanks, Miami. I didn't even think we were that close. I thought we had more than that to go. So I don't know. What do I know? Jets New York 102 comes in and says, thank you for the super chat, my friends. Bottom line is we dropped 40. No NFL team should allow 40 points. QB1, QB2, QB3. The fact of the matter is that the Jets are on the rise. Folks can't fathom. And when Mark White got hurt against Indianapolis, and we had to bring in Johnson, who was from the practice squad, who we just activated because Zach was already down. And was his name Johnson? Now he's on Baltimore, I think. He's a backup quarterback somewhere. And he did a good job. But we were on our third string quarterback, right? Because Flacco didn't come to the team yet. Nobody said anything. The media didn't say, oh, well, the Jets were down to their third string quarterback. We were a laughingstock. They put up 45 on us. We were the joke of the league. Nobody cared that we put up 30 points. They called it garbage time. But now all of a sudden, it doesn't count that they gave up 30 points. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, Jets, New York 102. I'm going to enjoy this win. Or I'm enjoying this win. They're not going to tell me and tell us that we can't enjoy the win and try to take it from us. Because we were going against what quarterback we were going against. And the Main Street media, the beat, they go F themselves. They can go F themselves. Trying to take away what we're doing and take away from our accomplishments by talking about our competition, who played and who didn't play. The same people that gave us none of that. None of that. Never mentioned it in any of our losses. They never talked about our injuries. Those people are just biased against us. They're programmed to be anti-Jets. And do you know what? As much as I hope we keep winning, we might go lose the next few games. We might lose the next few games. I hope it doesn't happen, and I see a path on how we can beat any of these teams. I do. But even if we lose these games, this franchise is going in the right direction, and they're going to have to deal with us eventually. Right? They're going to have to deal with us eventually. Even if they're right, and this is a fluke, and we end up winning 6 games this year, or whatever it is, because we might be happy winning 7, 8 games, and they're still going to put us down. Oh, they had those lucky wins in the beginning, whatever it is. We're not going to get any respect. It doesn't matter, because eventually they're going to have to deal with us. This franchise is going the right direction. The franchise is headed in the right direction. It is. And they're going to have to deal with it. There could be all the excuses. They beat Jacoby Brissett. Miami had their third-string quarterback. Everybody was hurt. They beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh stinks. Last year, they beat Jacksonville and Houston. Same old Jets. They stink. Fine, let them say it. One day, it's not going to be the case. Because maybe they're not paying attention. Maybe they don't know anything about football. Maybe they've never watched football. I don't care if you're a Dolphin fan. You're going to watch that game and say Breece Hall isn't good? You're going to watch any of the Jets highlights and say Garrett Wilson isn't good? You're going to say that AVT is not good? You wouldn't want him on your team? He could play any position on the offensive line at a high level? He's not good? Elijah Moore's not good? Even if you don't believe in Zach Wilson. Even if you still don't believe him, I understand. We don't deserve. Look, I don't put a Dolphin fan down for that. The way we put down Tua, the way Jet fans attack Tua, we have no right to expect Dolphin fans not to attack Zach. I mean, really. Because we're kind of hypocrites when it comes to it, right? We'll defend the hell out of Zach. He's just a rookie, blah, blah, blah. And then nobody gives Tua an inch because he's a young guy too, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest. But the reality is if you're a football fan, you're really drunk for your team if you can't see that the Jets have better players. If you watch that game and say the only reason we lost is because of our quarterback, you didn't notice the Jets that played well? That doesn't count. How does Breece Hall, what he did against the Miami defense, a very good NFL defense, have anything to do with who the quarterback was? It doesn't matter because you're going to have to deal with us. It might be next year. It might be the year after that if something goes wrong. It doesn't matter. It's happening. These players aren't going away. Joe Douglas is not going to, out of nowhere, forget how to find talent. Look at the last 2 drafts. We have a GM who knows how to draft, who knows how to pick up value free agents. If that's not proven by now, you just not paying attention. You don't know anything about football. Whether you're a Jets fan, Dolphin fan, Buffalo Bill fan, or any fan in the NFL. If you know about football, if you're paying attention, I mean, if you're ignorant, fine, be ignorant. I'm ignorant when it comes to other teams. I can't tell you about other teams. I don't know about Detroit. I didn't know. I watched Hard Knocks and I said, oh, they got some good players. I didn't know. It's fine not to know about our team. You're following your team. You don't have time to follow our team so intimately. But if you just played us and you can't see that we're getting better and that we have good players, all right, fine. What's the excuse going to be when we win 11, 12 games in a couple of years or next year, whenever it is? When we're a playoff team every year for a long time with great young star players, are you going to say it's just all fixed because, oh, they're New York, the NFL wants New York to win? That's what it'll be. Suddenly we'll forget about the 12 years of us sucking. I mean, and let's get something straight, okay? There are ridiculous fans for every fan base that show incredible hatred towards each other. That does not represent the average fan. So I am against when people say Miami fans are evil, Patriot fans are arrogant, Jet fans are better. I hate that. Okay, let's be sensible and let's use our brains. People are people. All right, there are obnoxious people, and there are people who are not obnoxious. And all different levels. There's a spectrum of obnoxiousness and hypocrisy. And I've fallen on that spectrum. I've had bad days where I've said shit I shouldn't have said. But the reality is that it's all fan bases are the same. We're football fans. Most of us like teams from the city we grew up in, or some other weird thing that connected us to our team. Fine. But to sit there and try to label dudes. I mean, are you paying attention to the world and the problems in our world? What's the difference? You can't judge what kind of person someone is by if somebody grew up in Miami and they're a Dolphin fan. We don't know that guy. Some of my best friends are fans of other teams. I have good friends that are Dolphin fans. We'd never put them down as a human being. The Dolphin fans that are assholes are the ones that are acting like assholes, and the Jet fans that are assholes are the ones that act like assholes. If you're a Dolphin fan telling a Jet fan they're being an asshole, or saying our team was depleted and had injuries because a Jet fan is saying Miami stinks and we're better than them, I understand why you're saying it, and that's fine. You have the right to say that. Of course, I'd say the same thing if my players were hurt. If I had a team that I felt was better, and we had injuries, and then we lost to a team, and they were going around saying they're better than us and everything, I'd say, yeah, screw you. Wait until our guys are back. Fine. But if you're just going to come in, or you're going to on Twitter, if you're going to attack Jet fans for being happy, we're talking about Jet fans who didn't say anything negative against the Dolphins. We're talking about Jet fans that said, yay, we won a division game. Yay, we won 2 in a row. Yay, we're 3-2. Nobody would have thunk it. And you are coming in there and attacking them for being happy and saying your win doesn't count. Well, if your team is the difference of we are great unless we go from our second string quarterback to our third string quarterback, and then we lose to the Jets and we say suck, then you got problems with your team. You got problems with your team. I remember Buffalo Bills were in Kansas City, and Mahomes went out, and there was a lot of time left in the Bill, and it got close. Kansas City found a way to win with some kid, man, who was shaking. I mean, the kid was shaking. He was running with the ball. He didn't know how to throw the ball. I mean, I forgot his name, but he was not good. This is 2 years ago in the playoffs. Found a way to win because they're a great team. So my advice to Miami is, hey, man, number one, you got to, that's part of being great. You have to deal with injuries. We all do. Quarterbacks get hurt. It's just the name of the game. Quarterbacks get hurt. Sometimes the guy that's in there, the second string, he's going to get hurt. It's a horrible thing. I wish there were no injuries in football, but it happens. So Jet fans know more than anything. We were down to our third string. We started 4 different quarterbacks last year. 4. We've started how many tackles? We started the season. Who was our tackles when the season started in the offseason? Becton and Fant. Right? Becton down. We signed Dwayne Brown. Down. Fant, down. Max Mitchell, rookie, comes in. Down. We had to move AVT to tackle. We had to play Connor McDermott. We're down to our 6th guy. Wouldn't even make another NFL roster. Injuries are part of the game. It sucks. I'm not going to run around and say we beat the Dolphins at their best. I'm not going to run around all cocky. Scared shit of going into Miami. It's going to be a revenge game. Scared we're going to get our asses handed to us. But I'm also hopeful we're going to find a way to win. Obviously, because I'm a fan. But to come in and say, you're not allowed to be happy. You're not allowed to celebrate. I mean, that celebration I had personally had nothing to do with the Dolphins. It really didn't. I mean, it could have been against any team in the NFL. We were just happy that we won. And yeah, there are Jet fans that are taking it up to the top. Oh, we're better than Miami. We're going to win. They're not a threat in the division. That's crazy to say. We're not there yet, guys. I mean, we could be there, but we have a lot more to prove before we can say that. A lot more to prove. We have so much more to prove, right? But we're allowed to be happy. Because if the Dolphins won the game, the fans wouldn't have been happy. I mean, they would have been happy, right? And we'd be crybabies if we went into their tweets and said, we didn't have any of our tackles. We have a guard playing tackle. We're beat up, right? They'd say, oh, you're being a crybaby, right? I didn't hear anybody saying that when we lost to Baltimore, we weren't running into Baltimore rooms saying we had our backup quarterback. It was Joe Flacco. 37-year-old backup quarterback. So let's just say what it is. It is what it is. The Dolphins realize Tua means something to them because they're a much better team when he's playing, right? Especially Bridgewater means something to them too as a backup, right? That's what they know. They know Xavier Howard's an important player on their team. But they also should know, hey, we got to watch the run. We got to look at those passes that beat our defense. Right? And what did we learn? We learned that, well, first of all, not to be over cocky, we learned that even when a third string, 7th round rookie came in, he was still driving on us. And we have to figure that out. Why was Miami keeping it close for that first half? Why weren't we able to dominate them? We have to think about that. And then what did we do right? Why did we explode in the third quarter, in the middle of the third quarter for the rest of the game? Why were we able to suddenly get pressure on this kid? He wasn't holding the ball too long. I mean, someplace he was. Someplace it was very frustrating because we weren't getting to him and he was holding the ball a long time, but he's a rookie. He was being indecisive. But starting from the middle of the third quarter for the rest of the game, we were getting to him. I mean, I don't care who you have in there. If you have Tua in there, Miami, you better block better than that. Don't tell me that Tua would have done better in the fourth quarter against the Jets defense. Come on, watch the game. No quarterback deals with that. We all know that you have to protect your quarterback. I'm not saying that having him in made no difference in the game. But you can't sit there and ignore your stuff. Like you got to just say, you got to acknowledge your shit. We acknowledge our shit even in victory. I acknowledge our shit. You guys were for a second going to make us look really stupid. You're going to beat us with a rookie quarterback who's a 7th round pick. And by the way, Tyreek Hill is awesome. I mean, yeah, I was happy when Quinn Williams basically gave him an Undertaker chokeslam. But there's no denying Tyreek Hill is an awesome player. I underestimated him. I thought, oh, he's with Kansas City. He's just speed. Patrick Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. No, Tyreek Hill, if you watched yesterday's game, he is special. Okay? We knew he was getting the ball and we couldn't stop him. I mean, time after time, he was killing us. Guy's a great player. Do I regret not getting him? No. And I only say that because Garrett Wilson is going to be a superstar. He might never be better than Tyreek, but we got Breece Hall. We would not have gotten Breece Hall or JJ. So we got Garrett Wilson, and we got Breece Hall and Jermaine Johnson. Or we could have had Tyreek Hill for $30 million a year. I'm sorry. I love Tyreek Hill. He's awesome. But he's not that awesome because Garrett Wilson's going to be a very good wide receiver. And Breece Hall, my God, might be the best running back we've had since Curtis Martin. So, and throw in an edge, Jermaine Johnson, who seals the edge. Even if he's not getting sacks and he never gets a ton of sacks, he's a very good defensive lineman because he seals the edge. And he's doing that as a rookie, which is very impressive. So let's just enjoy our victory. Enjoy our victory. And it's like, and I mean, here's my example of who is the Finns fan Pete's Takes that feuds with you? I don't know, man. I don't know who Pete's Takes is. He hasn't been around since the game. But I don't know, man. But Grandizer is the perfect example of why you can't judge someone by who they root for. Daniel too. You can't judge Daniel for who he roots for. These are good people. These guys support my channel. These are good people that I like. They're good people. But I think what's happening here is we're generalizing too much, right? Pete's Takes is not Grandizer. Pete's Takes is not Daniel. And Daniel, look, you know it yourself. You didn't say the Dolphins were a Super Bowl team, but a lot were. And when you say, and if you want proof of that, there are tons of Dolphin content providers, like the main guys that our content providers collaborate with, that believe they're going to beat the Bills for the division. So if you say that you can beat Buffalo out and win the division, then you're saying you're a Super Bowl team, because the Bills are certainly one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And I don't begrudge a Miami Dolphin fan that. I don't. If the Jets get to where the Dolphins are in their rebuild, and if next year we're 3-0 and then we go 3-1, if like we were playing, forget this game. Let's rewind. Make Tua healthy, right? Now imagine Tua being healthy, and imagine it's before they play the Jets. I don't think a Dolphins fan is crazy. I might not agree. I might say I don't think you're better than Buffalo. I don't care if you beat them. I don't think you're going to win the Super Bowl. Fine. But I don't think a Miami Dolphin fan is crazy to be saying Super Bowl. Why? Why shouldn't you be saying Super Bowl? You got a great roster. You got what appears to be a very good young coach. So I wouldn't. If I was a Dolphin fan, I'd be damn proud and saying, yeah, hell yeah, we're capable of winning the Super Bowl. Did anybody get rid of that pornography stuff? Oh, Grandizer. Thanks, man. So no, man, I'm not saying that you said that they were a Super Bowl team, but there were definitely Dolphin fans that said they weren't. And again, that's fine. That's fine. But if those Dolphin fans that think that the Dolphins are a Super Bowl team have to understand, if you're a Super Bowl team, you have to be able to overcome injuries and beat what you think to be a weak team. Now, Daniel, you didn't say the Jets were weak. I'm not talking about you personally. But there are a lot of Dolphin fans that say we suck, and that we're the same old Jets, and that we're awful, and we're going to draft in the top 5 forever, and we're losers. There are Dolphin fans that say that. So if there are Dolphin fans that say that Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender, and that the Jets suck shit, and they are an awful team. So for those fans, they have to wonder, why weren't we able to beat them? Yes, we had our third string quarterback in, but that's the difference. They go from Super Bowl contender to losing to the team they said sucks. That's not a good place to be, right? I mean, it's look, it's the same thing. Like if Buffalo plays their backup quarterback and stinks and loses 3 games in a row, that's a problem for them, because injuries are part of football. They happen. You have to be built. Look, the Jet fans know that better than anyone. You have to be built to stand injuries. And we've been told that a million times. I can't tell you how many times when we talk about injuries, people say to us, well, it's the Jets' fault. They don't have depth on their roster. Got to have depth. Are we going to beat Miami the next time we play them? Guys, I hope we can. I'm going to root like hell that we do. But am I going to sit there and run my mouth and say we're going to beat them? No. Sorry, now I'm going to cough. But going into Miami is a much different thing. Now, going into a Miami is not a much different thing because of the home field advantage, because we're fine on the road. Going into Miami is a much different thing because they're going to have Tua back, most likely, because I hear he's fine. And as long as Tua is healthy, I don't care what Jet fans think about Tua. Whatever, you can say whatever you want. There's no question, and there's no argument that the Miami Dolphins are a lot better when Tua is starting at quarterback. You can swear that you don't think he's good. You could say it's psychological and the other players believe in him. You could say whatever you want. Nobody can say that Tua is not good. So that's why I'm not running my mouth. I'm just saying I'm happy we won. But you're not going to see me put down Miami because I don't believe in smack talk when you have to play the team again. You know what I mean? And I'm a Jet fan, and I've been disappointed too many times to ever get cocky. I'm humble. I'm just happy that we won. Where is Iowa Jets fan? Has anybody seen him? Does he show up in other people's shows? Because I have not seen Iowa Jet fan. I think that Indiana Jet fan and Utah Jet fan got together and kidnapped Iowa Jet fan. Because Arkansas Jet fan sold one of his golf carts and had his rich dad hire somebody to get rid of Iowans. So they hired Utah Jet fan and Indiana Jet fan. I don't know. I'm getting carried away. I'm losing track of all these Jet fans. Jet fans would have been happy with 8 wins this year. Yeah, and now we won't, because 8 wins would mean that we went 5 and help me out here, guys. 5, 12, 5 and 7. That's still not bad. It's still not bad. I know some of you might get mad at me for saying that, but 5 and 7 is still a better win percentage than we've had in a really long time, right? That much better than last year and the year before that. So I don't know. But I think obviously hope is starting to creep in that we can get 9 or 10 wins, obviously. Especially because this was supposed to have been the 4 games were supposed to have been games that we were not going to win a lot of games, right? There were people saying we'd be lucky if we're 1-3. So yeah, and that's the thing, Ronald. It's a weird situation. That's when you don't trust the team or you don't know your team well enough, you end up in a situation where you could see things going either way. Like if we went into Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers goes 25 of 28, 3-4 touchdown passes, and we lose, are you really going to be that shocked? I mean, do you think that he's struggling so much that it's going to be so hard to believe Aaron Rodgers, who's been doubted times before and has always come back, right? Especially when it's not the playoffs and it's regular season. The Green Bay is a regular season phenomenon, right? They go 14-2 for years. You can't be that shocked if that happens. They're pissed. Then if we go to Denver, now I don't know about Russell Wilson's health, but the thin air in Denver and their defense, what if we lost 12-10? Or some weird thing like that. 13-6, 16-6 to Denver. It's not impossible that would happen. I'm not rooting for it, but it's not impossible. As Jet fans, we have to know and be able to imagine that scenario. But yet, if we went in and we beat Green Bay, if Breece Hall runs for 140 yards, if Zach lights it up and Elijah or Garrett break out and have a huge game, and our defense makes 3 or 4 interceptions or something like that, or we just shut down their receivers and we're able to contain their run, and somehow we beat Green Bay 27-23, we're not going to be we're not going to say it was impossible. We're not going to be blown away, shocked. Green Bay's, it's the same scenario. I mean, I think we'd be surprised. It would be an upset and we'd be really happy. But we understand why it could happen. We understand that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have receivers. We understand that he doesn't seem as effective, and maybe this is the decline in his career. We saw the Giants expose a part of Green Bay's defense. So it would be explainable. Like, it's possible we can go in there and sneak in a win. They just came back from England. Like, it's possible. And then Denver, Russell Wilson stinks, or he's not going to be playing. Another backup for us. It's going to be our thing. New York Jets, we beat backup quarterbacks. But, and then if we go into Denver and they can't score and they just stink, and it's a really low-scoring game, and we win 13-3 or 13-6 or 16-10 because Breece Hall fights for some yards, or Zach, we have that one, we have a magical play where Zach, does something and scrambles and then throws it, and Garrett Wilson takes off, like, it doesn't matter how good the defense is. Big plays happen. And if we stole that game, like, all these things are possible. That's the interesting scenario we're in, because we're not a great team yet. We're young. We're not great yet. We're not proven to where we could go in and be confident. Oh, we're going to win the next few games because that's what we're used to doing, because we typically win 14 games a year. We're not that yet. Hopefully we'll be that. But we are also starting to show that we're not the Jets from last year and the year before that. We don't appear to be the same team. So it's hard to predict. Lots of different things can happen. I'd be happy. Look, I mean, obviously I want to win both games, but if you told me now we're going to split both games, I'm not going to be mad, because that would mean we won 3 out of our last 4, and that would mean we're 4-3. And if we're 4-3 after the first 7 games of the season, that's ridiculous. Like, that is amazing. We should be dancing in the streets. So, the way I'm looking at it is every game or 2 at a time. We need to win 1 out of the next 2 games. We need to somehow find a way to win 1 out of the next 2. But, 1 game at a time. Let's try to beat Green Bay. Because if we beat Green Bay, I'm not going to say, I don't care about Denver. No, because then I'm going to be saying, we need to win 1 out of the next 2 games. That's how I'm doing it. 1 out of the next 2 for the rest of the season. And if we happen to win 2 out of the next 2, I'll be happy. Like, I'll be thrilled. And by the way, after the bye week, I'm going to probably want to win 2 out of 3 for the rest of the year, like, for the last 6 games or whatever. See that. I think because they're yeah, but those are the Miami fans that you're paying attention to, right, Ronald? I mean, believe me, on Twitter, there are a lot of crybaby Jet fans. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of Miami Dolphin fans. How many tweets do you have to read to think it feels like it's all of them? If you read 35, 40 of them as you were on Twitter, you'd think these guys are babies. But that doesn't represent the thousands. That represents the 40 Dolphin fans that are pissed off and being irrational by saying, by acting the way they're acting. And then, but look, there's a lot of Jet fans that's on Twitter right now that I'm not very proud of, saying things that they shouldn't say. Like we need to calm down. We should not be sitting there claiming to be better than them. We should just be happy that we're able to beat them. There's plenty of time for us to prove or become better than them. It's not from 1 game, right? I mean, like, one day when we clearly win more games than them, win the division, go further than them, like we have to earn, like, to me, I'll wait until we really earn it and prove it. Don't believe me. I just don't want to say it if it's not real. Like, I want to celebrate. I would love to celebrate. Hey, the Jets are not the worst team in the division. We're better than New England. We're better than Miami. But I'd like to wait to prove it. I'd like to show it. It's going to be a little bit longer, I think, for us to do that. But now we're on the way. We took a big step forward. We're competitive now. We're competitive. Even if Tua's in that game, we were competitive. Maybe they win that game. Tua's playing. Right? Miami fans would swear that they would have. But would they have blown us out? Or would we have been competitive? Hell, we were competitive last year, and we were better, and we're better than we were last year, and no one can deny that. Tua's people talking about him like he's Pete Manning. I think everybody like I think it's like everyone like thinks that it's either you stink as a quarterback or you're Joe Montana. And we're doing the same thing to Zach, I think, too. It's like there's such thing as just a good quarterback. Like it's just a regular, good, solid quarterback that if you put the right players around them, you could win. And if you don't, they could look really bad and your team loses. Right? There's different types. There's plenty of Super Bowl teams, like, the Giants with Phil Simms. Phil Simms was a good quarterback. He wasn't a Montana. He wasn't a superstar. But he was good. And they gave him the best defense in the world and an amazing running game, and he won a Super Bowl. And then they did it again with Jeff Hostetler, who also didn't stink. He was good. He didn't stink. He wasn't great by any means. But he was okay. He was an okay NFL quarterback. There's plenty of guys. Tua, Zach Wilson, they could end up just being okay, good quarterbacks. And that doesn't mean that their teams don't have chances to win Super Bowls. Tua doesn't have to be a superstar, and Zach doesn't have to be a superstar. We want Zach to be a superstar, and they want Tua to be a superstar. But it doesn't mean you can't have a good NFL career and be a good quarterback in the NFL that even gets a Super Bowl ring if you're just good and you're not great. It's just, you know what I mean? And there's other examples too. Now, look, there's no doubt that it's great to have a franchise quarterback like a superstar quarterback. We all know it because look how many Super Bowls New England got, right? But Green Bay got one with Aaron Rodgers, and he likes to think of himself as the best to ever play. So you need more than just a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes got one so far. Russell Wilson only won one. These were guys that were considered elite at different parts of their career. Lamar Jackson, who Baltimore fans will tell you is the most elite quarterback alive. Lamar the Great, says Adam Butler. Does Baltimore have a Super Bowl ring yet? But we're not going to deny that Lamar's not really good. Right? I don't think we are. So there's such thing as just being a good quarterback. There's other levels. It's not like 3 or 4 even. It's a big spectrum. There's average. There's a little better than average. There's a little bit better than a little bit better than average. There's really good. There's really, really a great quarterback. And then there's like freaking amazing quarterback. And then there's like the best to ever play or the most elite 5 in the world to do it. There's different levels. What's up, Twisted? How's it going? Good to see you. We're getting close to 6 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here because I know Matt O'Leary is going to be on somebody's channel show. I don't know if he said everything Jets or Jets this or Jets that or NY Jets. I have no idea. But Matt O'Leary's going on. I'm going to get out of their way and let them have their show. I just wanted to pop in. And I just wanted to make the point that I think we have the right to celebrate this win. I don't think that we should go and try to rub it in their faces and be like that. That's not, teach your own. I'm not that kind of fan. I don't need or care about anyone else being miserable. I just want to celebrate winning. Winning is enough for me. Winning feels great. Now, don't get me wrong. If we ever played Brady again somehow in the Super Bowl, I would love to beat Brady. Or if we beat New England, this year, like when we play them, if we beat New England, I'm not going to say it's the same. It doesn't mean more. Of course it means more. But going and making a New England Patriot fan cry or feel like crap or rub it in their face doesn't even come close to just winning. Like the feeling of winning means so much more and is so much more powerful than anything else, at least in my opinion. Ryan, is he on right now? Oh, it's Friday. Uh-oh. Oops. I'm gonna probably go listen. I usually don't miss Ryan. I just forgot. I checked. I really did. I looked. Matt O'Leary has been on. I came here, but I saw he was on too. Oh, okay. That's why the numbers went down. It's like people are checking in, but they're going, "Oh, Ryan's on. I gotta love you, Chaos, but I gotta go check out Ryan." Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Hey, I just wanted to come on and talk for a while. I forgot that he was on. But I don't like to compete with Ryan either. Like, I don't want to go against Ryan when he's on. I mean, not only because he's much more established, he's Ryan, and it's Jets Talk 24/7. I just want to watch it. I don't want to miss it. I get a lot of great information from watching Jets Talk 24/7. I love watching Ryan. So if I'm on here talking to you guys and I can't be listening to him and watching my show, you know what I mean? It's like I'm missing my show. So I'm gonna have to go over there and check it out. Jets Cast, how about making a T-shirt in honor of Coach Saleh and honorable Akil saying the tax is too high. How about those receipts though? Okay, I like that idea. That would be a great shirt. I thought it was going to be something else. I thought you were going to convince me to try to do a Jets Chaos shirt that just says, "Bring on the chaos, baby." This is a picture of my bald head. Well, Egghead says chaos. I don't know. Chaos loves eggs. Anyway, Grandizer is escorting me off the stage. Thank you, everyone, for joining the stream. Hit the like button. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll see you over in Ryan's chat. It's Jets Talk 24/7. You don't want to miss that show. It's a great show. Take care, everyone. Love you guys. I'll see you on Wacky Wednesday. We got a special guest. I'll give you a hint. He was in the military. He's a crazy wild man. And he goes by the nickname Gunny. Take care, everyone. Oh, yeah. Go. Amazing. That's my boy.
Breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati.